I believe that Velo is amazing. And the reason for that is because I believe that reaching $1 during this bull run, that wouldn't shock me whatsoever. And of course, that's not financial advice and that's not a guarantee. But I think oftentimes people ignore just how special Velo is fundamentally speaking, because we have to think about this, right? Velo is a blockchain-enabled financial system and decentralized settlement network that is designed to make the transfer of value between one country to another more efficient. Now, this may sound kind of complicated and kind of caca, but, if we simple things down, basically, Velo is focused on cost-effective cross-border payments and as well as remittances. Now, let's break this down because there's two parts to this. Again, right? Payments, generally speaking, and also on top of that, we take a look at remittances. Now, first of all, I do want to talk about payments because if you think about it, the payments market as of right now, as we speak, is valued at over $2 trillion. So that's insane right there, being focused on that. Now, do I think Velo is going to be like the market leader or something like that? I think probably not, but I still think it's amazing nonetheless that they're focused on this. But if we take a look at it more specifically, for instance, in the case of remittances, now this right here is, I believe, where something like Velo really gets cooking because there isn't that many good competitors in the space as of right now when it comes to this. And if you think about it, remittances, it's very crucial because, to give an example as to what I mean by this, for instance, if let's say I'm from São Paulo, Brazil, you know what I mean? Let's just imagine that's the case, right? Let's say I'm working in Japan, in Tokyo. Let's say I'm working in Japan and Tokyo, right? And I send money back to São Paulo in Brazil, let's say to my family or something like that. That's remittances right there. So that right there, of course, is something that needs an efficient solution because you got to think about how there's many international workers out there. So, of course, there needs to be an efficient solution. Not saying that there isn't that many, solutions as of right now, there is, but of course we need something very fantastic. And something like Velo could very well allow for that. Now, we have to think about how when it comes to Velo, initially they weren't just focused on like the worldwide, remittance market. No, that wasn't the case. They were initially focused on the Southeast Asian region. Now, you may be thinking, okay, why Southeast Asia? We have to take a look at this. For instance, right? According to BPB, back in 2020, there was nearly 24 million Southeast Asians living outside their country of origin. So you can imagine their remittances, sent per month, let's say, when it comes to that. That's insane. Now, this was back in 2020 again. It's like 4 years ago at this point. Well, nearly 5 years ago, which is kind of crazy to think about. But even besides that, it's probably more now, when it comes to the number. So you got to think about how this right here actually is something that needs, again, a fantastic solution. Not to mention, if you just take a look at the remittance market, like generally speaking, we take a look at how, according to Grand V Research, the global digital remittance market is expected to reach over $60 billion by 2030. So you got to think about that. That's kind of crazy to think about. So when it comes to remittances, again, the market is massive. And also on top of that, it needs an efficient solution. So when it comes to Velo, is it like caca? Is it trash? No, I mean, come on, right? People may think that the name is corny or whatever, but I think that it's actually very fantastic. Not to mention, what is something else that Velo is focused on? Because keep in mind, it's not like a one-trick pony. Something else that they're focused on is something called CDFI. It's centralized, decentralized finance. Now, people may think, okay, this is kind of weird, but let me explain. This basically combines the best aspects of DeFi and combines it with the best aspects of CeFi. So you got to think about that. That right there could be so fantastic because sometimes people, they don't like CeFi. They think, okay, it's too centralized. And in some other cases, people may not like DeFi. They may think, hey, it's still a bit too decentralized. I like it though, but even besides that, some people may not. So again, a best of both worlds type of scenario is like, C DeFi. Again, that's why Velo is that amazing. Not to mention, if you just take a look at the DeFi market more specifically, it's predicted to reach over $200 billion by 2030, according to Grand V Research. So yeah, that's insane. Could you imagine the potential there? But yeah, even besides that point, when you take a look at Velo overall, it still doesn't end there because why? There's more. For instance, we take a look at how there's something called Quantum, right? A one-stop lightning speed remittance network. Now that's amazing. You take a look at Universe, a multi-chain super decentralized exchange. Yeah, that's fantastic. You take a look at the Nova chain, an affordable universal blockchain network. And also on top of that, Orbit, a crypto super app. Now that's a little bit, jarring, right? In terms of the name, but I guess it's cool. I guess it's good. But yeah, besides that point, we take a look at Warp, a multi-network cross-chain bridge. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think everything when it comes to Velo is pretty much fantastic. If I take a look at Velo, it's like as if it was like an NBA 2K character or like, a character on Madden, but then all the statistics are like at 85. You know what I mean? Because some characters we see, like let's say someone creates their own character, the speed is like 98, but then the strength is like 2. You know what I mean? But when it comes to Velo, it's very well-rounded. That's the way I take a look at it. Not to mention, of course, it doesn't end there though, because when it comes to Velo, there's something called USDV, their stablecoin. Now you may be thinking, okay, why do we need another stablecoin? This is caca, this is trash, there's so many. But in my opinion, there isn't too many. The crypto space overall is growing at a good pace. So it's only natural that there's going to be more, stable coins that are needed. Not to mention, when it comes to USDV, it's not like it's just randomly made and then they just put it out there like, oh, who cares? No, I mean, you got to think about this, right? When it comes to USDV, not too long ago, we take a look at Velo's involvement with BlackRock. And yes, I'm talking about that BlackRock, the one that's pretty much one of the biggest things out there. But even besides that, we take a look at more specifically with BlackRock's tokenized short-term treasury fund into their USDV stablecoin. I mean, carajo, poha. You can only imagine that, right? Could you imagine just, again, how massive BlackRock is and just how fantastic this is? This is how amazing Velo is. Or should I say USDV? But of course, it's going to benefit Velo. But yeah, even besides that point, we also take a look at something else that's massive. We take a look at, very recently, Velo had a collaboration with the Laos Bullion Bank to integrate gold into the blockchain. So if you take a look at it, I mean, Velo is really fantastic. This is just how amazing they are. And at the price of $1, I really don't see why not during this bull run, of course. I mean, if we think about this logically, right, if it were to go to the price of $1, considering current circulating supply, market cap would only be around $7.5 billion. Now I get it, it's over 70x from here. But we've seen Dogecoin reach over 80 billion. We've seen SHIB reach around 40 billion. So this is kind of like peanuts in the grand scheme of things. At least that's the way I view it. Not to mention, this bull run could be so special. There's currently over 600 million crypto owners, more than ever before in history. So that's insane. Of course, according to Crypto.com research. And also on top of that, you take a look at the Ethereum ETF, the Bitcoin ETF, and the amount of institutional adoption, and as well as the amount of, enterprise investors. As of right now, it's just through the roof. So with all those amazing factors, I think during this bull run, I think we could very well see Bitcoin at the price of $150,000. Now, only time will tell. But it's not like it's even that much longer anyways, historically speaking, because as a worst case scenario, based off of history, usually altcoins, they've been known to peak around a year and a half after a Bitcoin halving event. Now, the last Bitcoin halving event, as we pretty much all know, happened back in April. So a year and a half, aka 18 months from then, is of course October of next year. Now, granted, could altcoins peak a lot sooner? Yes, we just never really know. But in my opinion, even as a worst case, historically speaking, just a year away, it doesn't seem too bad, if you know what I mean. It's not like it's like 5 years, that'd be kind of crazy. But even besides that, just a year doesn't seem too, atrocious. At least that's the way to take a look at it. Which is why I'm continuing to dollar cost average at the Velo. Anytime an income, I'm acquiring, I'm holding, and I'm just waiting. That's it. No day trading, no using leverage, no swing trading, because quite frankly, that's just not my style. When things are this amazing, or hypothetically could be that amazing, I'm just going to keep things simple. Could you imagine, right, as Bitcoin goes to the price of $150,000, at that point, Velo, at the price of $1, I don't see why not. And as the old saying goes, a high tide raises all ships. What do I mean by that? We take a look at how as Bitcoin reaches greater heights, right? Naturally, altcoins, I think hypothetically, they're going to follow. And I'm not going to say that every altcoin is going to do well, but I do believe the good ones, much like Velo, could join that ride. And again, a high tide raises all ships. As the altcoin season kicks in, Velo at the price of $1, I don't see why not. And again, it's not like it's some crazy price target. I'm not saying that Velo is going to go to the price of like $50 or something insane like that. No, just $1. Even some people think it's bearish. They're like, oh, only $1. But again, even as like $1, I still think it's not bad because it's still over 70x from here. But yeah, I get why some people may think it's bearish, especially when you consider the fundamentals of Velo. But again, $1 for me, it's kind of enough. Sometimes enough is enough, hypothetically speaking, in my opinion. And again, at the price of $1 during this bull run, that right there wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's Malik the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.